Hi, everyone. Welcome into Love to Shop Live. My name is Jana, and today we have the ultimate treat for you. We are featuring one of our Living for Live segments, which means we are bringing on a very special guest. And today is a very, very special guest to talk jewelry, style, and home shopping. And today we have none other than the absolutely incredible, fashion-forward stylist and connoisseur of jewelry himself, Michael O'Connor. So I hope you all are as excited as I am. Welcome in, Michael. Thank you for being here.
No, thank you for having me. First of all, you and I only get together in like Las Vegas. So like during the
Not like that.
show.
No. It's for big jewelry shows.
Tradition.
For big jewelry shows.
I'm just so glad that we can do this and just chit chat and catch up. And for all of you who are joining us, I am like thrilled that you're here. I know that a lot of you said that we're going to try to be here, so I hope that you're tuning in because, as Janet just said before the show, when she and I were chatting, she's like, "We're going to really get into it and dish some dirt." So,
oh yeah, we are gonna spill all the tea, and that's something the young kids taught me. That's something. That's what they're saying these days.
Before we spill the tea, because I'm going to say cheers to everybody because it is cocktail hour. Cheers.
Yes. And so we want to welcome you all in. Let us know where you're watching from. Please feel free to share the video. We're basically going to sit here and kind of talk about jewelry and style and how Michael got into the industry. And so we are so thrilled that you're going to be here with us. Courtney already said hello, so thank you for saying hi. Let us know where you're watching from. So, Michael, let's get into it. Like, we want to get down and dirty. So, first off, tell us a little bit about where you're from.
Oh my gosh, this is like a really, the thing that Jana knows that many of you don't really know is that like my background is so like wide and kind of checkered in many ways.
Yes.
I am from Canada. I grew up in Canada and I grew up in England, and then I moved to New York. And then from New York, I'm all over the place here in this country. So that's where I'm from. And so I don't know. This is not the accent that I speak with, that I grew up speaking with, although it's not that different. I always play a game with people, Jana, that people say, well, where are you from? And I'm like, well, where do you think I'm from? And
because you do have a subtle, but it's so subtle.
I think that they pick up on my diction more than anything. Mm-hmm. And so they say, I don't know, you speak English like you've learned it somewhere. And I'm like, no, this is my mother tongue. So anyway, it's a long checkered past, believe me.
So absolutely amazing. And just it speaks leaps and bounds because you've been to so many areas and done so many things. Diane, welcome in and good evening. She's watching from Denver. So thank you for saying hello. Please feel free to say hi in the comments. We'd love to hear from all of you. Okay. So because now we think of you a lot of times because you do some spectacular things. And I don't think people realize, like when we're in Vegas and we're at JCK, I'm always like, can I please do something? I don't think people realize the amount of crowns that you do wear. But so it didn't start there, though. Like, it didn't necessarily start with jewelry. It started with fashion and style a lot more, didn't? So tell me a little bit about how you kind of broke into television first and where you were headed.
Actually, it did start with jewelry in like a really kind of a weird way.
And we're telling all the things.
Everything else kind of like evolved from there. So the way it started with jewelry is like every other kid, when you're in high school and going to school and going to university, you constantly go to your parents and you're like, hey, Dad, I need like, $10 for this. I need $25 for that. I need $100 for this. And so my father finally said to me, if you need all this money, you need to get a job like everybody else. It's like, okay, I will. So my thought was that I would go and get kind of like a little part-time job after school. And so I was getting ready. And so my father was on the board of one of the universities in Toronto. And so he said to me, are you going downtown? I said, yes, I am. And I'm going to get a job as you instructed me. And so he said to me, well, in that case, can you drop off this packet to this gentleman. His name was Bert Gerstein, and he was the owner of People's Jewelers, which was actually owns Zale Corporation
Yeah.
at the time, not anymore, not any longer.
Yeah.
So I was like, I am, so I'm going to do this just as you instructed me. And so he said, well, I need you to drop this packet off. This is one of the things from the university, and I need you to drop it off with the head of a gentleman. He owns People's Jewelers. And so I was like, I was really a negotiator back then, because so my father said to me, I need you to drop this off. I said, well, you're going to take time away from me looking for a job, which is what you wanted. So will you pay for a taxi for me to get there?
Yes.
So he was like, okay, if I have to. I was like, okay, great. So he did. And so I went downtown, I dropped off the packet, and as I was dropping off the packet, I was told to wait in the waiting room. And so 5 minutes later, this gentleman comes out and he says, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize anyone was still here for the interviews. You're here for the job interview, right? And I said, yes, I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he says, okay, come on in. So I go into his office and he says to me, can I have your resume? I was like, I don't have a resume. And he says to me, let me tell you something, young man. If you come in for a job interview, you need to have a resume. That is the first and most important thing. And so I said to him, his name was Manny Godfrey. And I said, well, Mr. Godfrey, I said, I have to tell you, I came here to drop off these papers, but I really would love to have a job. And he said, he was hysterical. He was like, oh my gosh. So he brings me into the office of the CEO, and he says to me, he's like, this person is here to drop off some papers for you, but apparently he really needs a job. So they gave me a job in the jewelry industry. So
stop it. And so what were you doing? Like what was this alleged
sales,
job?
After school, they used to open back then, they opened on Thursday night late up until 9 o'clock, Friday night late. And of course they opened on Saturday. And so I worked Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night as a part-time job selling jewelry. And that was my first job and my first foray into jewelry. But to answer your question, the way it evolved is that I kept thinking I would look at something and I would say, it would be so much better if the diamonds were like on that side. It would be so much better if if the bail on the piece was a little further up, because it would hang better. And then I graduated into drawing and like creating pieces, and I'd be like, this would be so much better if we did it this way. So anyway, so that's how I ended up.
I love it.
The design area.
Oh my God. Okay. So we're going to circle back, because he has done, I don't know if you guys realize, and I know a lot of you follow Michael, and he's done literally quite possibly everything in the industry and is so incredible at it. I literally swoon over his photos constantly. We just want to say a couple hellos to Will. So we have Courtney in Tennessee, Kathy in Orlando, Esther in Delaware, Cheryl in Maryland, Cynthia in Indiana, Maria in Rhode Island, Mia in Florida. So thank you all for being here.
And Esther, I have a place in Delaware, so we're neighbors.
Watch out. He's going to pop over.
Well, actually, you know what? I think I know. I think it's Esther Ann. And
yes.
Oh my God. So yes, of course. She knows that I have a place in Delaware. She's amazing. I love her. She has a store, which is beautiful. So
see, and this is the thing. So your love of jewelry expanded. And obviously, you have such a captivating personality. So you didn't just stay in the jewelry world. I don't think a lot of people realize how much you've done. So tell us a little bit about your journey and what
I do.
I mean, from TV to styling celebrities to designing, like you said, picking up a pencil and starting a sketch and creating a piece of jewelry. You've quite literally done it all.
Well, it has been a rather robust kind of thing, because I did start out in retail sales of jewelry, but then
Mhm.
I graduated into, or I kind of evolved into the designing of jewelry,
Okay.
because I kind of kept thinking to myself, well, I know better. I could think that this would be better here. So, so anyway, long story short, I ended up in a career in jewelry design, and this was still all in Canada. And then I moved to New York. And in New York, I was doing jewelry design. As a matter of fact, I did, to your point, Jana, I did all of the. I did many concepts for De Beers. So I did the past, present,
Yes.
future for De Beers. I did. I did a variety of things for them. You know, creating the initial concept work that now is like in every jewelry store
Please
across.
don't just, yeah, but please don't just skip over that. Like, literally, you did one of the most iconic designs of all time.
Well, actually, I will tell you that, you know, when you see that three design thing, and I see it all the time, and I keep thinking to myself, and I'm going to tell you that I don't know if I should tell numbers or anything, but I literally was paid $35 for that design, $35. And I see this design everywhere, and I keep thinking to myself now, I mean, it's years ago. So I keep thinking to myself, if I only had a dime for every
$35 for every.
if I had ever had a dime for every one of those pieces that went out, granted, that was not the only thing I did. I did many designs for them, and
Incredible.
I was paid for them. But that one is the one that kind of I keep thinking to myself, if I had just patented that one myself, I could have,
You're just like, shoot.
figured by now.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, so then you went to New York.
So I
You,
So I went to New York, and I went
yes,
and I was doing freelance jewelry design for many different companies. I did design for Cartier. I designed for Harry Winston. I designed for like
unbelievable.
from pretty big names. And I'm glad that we can talk about this because, on television shopping, you can't mention those names.
No, we're just having the dish. We're
So
just,
Well, I designed for some pretty big names in the industry, and then I had the opportunity. Somebody said to me, I would really like for you to take over marketing. I was like, well, my father owned his own business, my mother owned her own business, so I know the concept, I kind of understand it, but the reality is I don't know enough about it. So if you want me to do it, you'll have to send me back to school, and so I can really learn how to do it. And so I went back to school for marketing.
good
And
for you to say that. Good for you.
well, it was a mutually beneficial situation because they were going to gain knowledge, and they were going to gain additional stuff, and I was going to gain knowledge from it. So I
Amazing.
went back to school, did my little thing, and then, excuse me one second.
Mhm.
So anyway, then and I really found out that I really enjoyed the marketing of stuff very much because it was pretty creative when you think about it.
Yeah.
So granted, at that point, all of my background was really in the jewelry industry. And
Yep.
so I went to work for an agency, and the agency was an agency that dealt with design for the fashion industry. They dealt with marketing for not only the fashion industry, but they also for the clothing, for the accessories industry, for the jewelry industry, and all of these different things. And so I went to work for them, and I was doing everything from helping create brands to I was doing designs for certain clients and things. And so anyway, they said to me, you know, I think what we need to do is we're going to send you out to Los Angeles during the award show season. And what you're going to do is you're going to take like the things that you think are really important from the collections of all the different clients here, and you will style celebrities with these products. And so I was like, okay, I mean, and I think I think I have a good fashion sense. So I said, sure. So I went out to LA and I started to style celebrities. Now I started to style these celebrities, and at the time they were like me. They were like just coming into business, and they were young. So I styled people who were just coming into the business, like Amy Adams and
Ugh, I mean, just
and like, but what I'm going to tell
Deborah Messing.
you,
Oh,
exactly.
I mean, just these,
The
like
people,
some of my favorite people. Okay, calm down.
and then I had the opportunity to work with a lot of the people from Desperate Housewives, from the show The Office, from Glee, from like all of these shows. And so what happened was, which was a very, very strange thing, is that all of a sudden shows like Access Hollywood, Entertainment Tonight, Extra, they were like,
Blew up.
well, he knows what the trends are on the red carpet. So we're going to interview him about what he's going to see.
Which you do, like you do.
I knew
You
because I
always,
put it there.
yeah, you
put
were
it
there.
people. So anyway, so I started to do those shows, and then, I started to work. Also I was concurrently working on QVC, and I was
Yes.
working kind of like alongside Joan Rivers, and so she and I started to become friendly, and next thing I know, I got a telephone call from one of the producers at TV Guide Channel, where she had gone, and he said to me, we know that you do QVC. We know that you do stuff on the you put things onto celebrities for for the award shows. We would love to have you come on and literally just kind of like talk about what's going to happen on the red carpet. And prior to Joan and Melissa coming on, well, that turned into me co-hosting for for a number of years. So I co-hosted for the hour prior to Joan and Melissa coming onto the carpet, and I interviewed celebrities about what they were wearing.
Do you know that I used to watch that all the time because I was like, tell me right now. This is where I want to be. So just so and I know people think that like, oh my God, you don't really have style because I'm always in my sweatpants. But the thing is like I have two looks. It's red carpet or sweatpants, Michael. There's no happy medium for me. I own approximately 18 ball gowns. In between my ball gowns, the only other thing I own 18 of is my stretchy pants. But it's one or the other.
I am kind of the same way. People say, well, they look in my closet and they were like, oh my God, I have 15 pairs of tuxedo shoes, and I've got 8 tuxedos. 3 of them have been made for me. And I'm like I have all of these like dress clothes.
Yeah.
And the rest of my clothes are like shorts and t-shirts and like all this. So I've got some great clothes, and I've got some clothes that you probably wouldn't even want to put on,
You might think my style is questionable, but at the same time, it's not about that. I know when my style needs to be on point. But yeah, it's so funny to me because like I don't feel like very many people know like the journey you've taken. And if you've never seen Michael in the middle of a jewelry show or in the midst of his like style is your you ooze it. Like you literally radiate style and sophistication. Never, and I'm a huge advocate. Like I use the hashtag bring back the brooch on a daily basis because I am the biggest fan of the brooch. I've spent too much time in Europe not to be. I literally have a custom made brooch for myself from the gentleman who is the jeweler to one of the royal houses at the Chatsworth House. So like
wow.
He is the royal jeweler to like the Duke and Duchess of Devonshire. And so I have a brooch that he made for, I am the biggest, but your not only jewelry, but like your overall style collection is just so on point. But I think that's probably like a kind of like paying homage to all the different areas you've worked in, right? Because you've really done it all.
It's interesting because I'm going to tell you how that happened. is that when I am very fortunate because I come from a family where my mother was a big jewelry collector, my
Mhm.
grandmother was a jewelry collector, my great grandmother was a jewelry collector, and so there is a lot of jewelry in my history.
Yes.
And so, as you know, brooches years ago were not really the thing that people really wanted. So,
Mhm.
as people passed on, and my sisters would be taking the rings and the bracelets and the all of like these great pieces. The pieces that were left were brooches, and a variety of other like things. I do I do own a tiara. I do not wear it, but
Yes, I wish you'd wear it.
maybe one day. But brooches were a big thing, and so I got them, and I had been in the jewelry industry for a while, so I kind of always thought to myself, well, it's not a big deal for me because I can take a brooch and I can turn it into something else.
Yeah.
Um, or I got these earrings that people didn't want, and I have turned more of the earrings that I have inherited into cufflinks than you could possibly imagine. Because if you see a good earring, you see a great cufflink. And
I love it.
so, but the thing is about the brooches. So I actually own a boatload of brooches, and so here's what happened. Sometime in the early 2000s, that people stopped wearing, or men stopped wearing bow ties on their tuxedo, so they would wear long ties. Now, what that meant was that they covered up the one unique thing that made them stand out and made them different from other people on the red carpet, and that was the shirt studs, because they covered it
Yeah.
up with a long tie because they
Yep.
didn't need the shirt studs.
Yep.
So I started at that moment when they started to do that. What I noticed was I was actually on the red carpet and I was interviewing people, and I was like, all these guys look the same. This one has a Hugo Boss tuxedo. That one's got an Armani tuxedo. This one's got a Zegna tuxedo, but they all really look the same. So what
Mhm.
I started to do is I started to suggest to the celebrities that I was working with, and I started to do it myself. I started to wear the brooches that I had, and wearing
Yes.
the brooches that I had, I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, wow, I don't need to change them into something else. Like I can literally like just wear them as they are. And because I had so many, I could just like change them, all the time. So it was interesting, and I suggested that to like Lauren Cesarian, who was covering the red carpet for E. I suggested that to Ryan Seacrest. He was having none of it. And I
I
suggested
love how you're like, yeah, just the usual.
like Steve Carell was like, Michael, not in a million years. You will never ever get me into a brooch.
Has he worn one since though? Have we paid attention enough to see? Because every time I see something new on the carpet, like I'm literally like, Michael started that. He's doing that because Michael put the word into someone's ear, like because it really like truly like think about how far men's fashion has come on the red carpet, especially in the last few years.
Well, I have to say that I tell people all this all the time, is that I really do take credit for the men's brooch on the red carpet. If you are seeing a guy wear a pin on the red carpet, literally, I started doing that in 2004, 2005, something like that. And there was a lot of opposition to it. But the reality is that today, actually, it's one of the biggest trends. It's
Yes.
one of the biggest things. You see so many people doing it. And I just love it. So anyway,
Yes.
I'm patting myself on the back right now because I take full credit for that.
Every time I see it, I literally give you credit for that. I'm literally like, I don't know if you know who started this, but it's Michael. Like I'm every time because the only two people that like kept the brooch alive over the years were you and the Queen. Like it was the the two of you like making this relentless effort, and then now it's coming back, and like every single time I have the opportunity, I'm like, bring it back, do it, put it in your hair, put it here. Like, so kudos.
That was the thing. I've done so many things. I kept telling people, a brooch is literally probably one of the most singular, versatile pieces that you will ever purchase and that you will
100%.
ever own. The reason is you can wear it on your lapel. You can wear it on your shoulder. You can wear it to accentuate. Like for women, I was just telling somebody this the other day. You have a beautiful a waistline on your dress. Put it into the folds there, and it creates an automatic belt and a focal point. You have a beautiful slit in the skirt so that it shows off your leg. Put it at the top of the slit. Put it at the bottom of the neckline. Put it in your hair. Put it on your handbag. Put it on like some
scarves, anything
on your scarf. Some of the brooches from the 30s and 40s, and you know this very well, is that they actually are two pieces that are dress clips that fit into a frame that create a brooch. Take them off and use them on your shoes. I mean, there's so many things that brooch can be useful for, and it's really just a question of being creative with it.
And I think that's the biggest thing, and it just. Oh, I love your passion behind all of this. Real quick, a lot of people are saying hello. So Cheryl said hello.
Hey, Cheryl.
Esther Ann said thank you so much. Pat said hi. Cynthia says hello. Patricia, Angela, Kathy, Lynn, Diana. We are so happy, Lily, to have so many of you with us. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Linda O'Connor is like, Michael, you are amazing. 5 stars, of course.
That is my sister, by the way.
Well, of course he's amazing. Hello. And amazing how he's talking how he got the leftover jewelry is what she's saying. No, I'm just kidding.
Linda has all the good jewelry right now.
So if we really want to talk style, people, no, just kidding. But so let's talk a little bit about, because really I don't think so many people know that you do have such a vast background. Like, it's incredible. But where did your biggest passion come from for style and design? Because you design these unbelievable pieces and you have to draw from somewhere. You can't just, sit down. I think that jewelry designing is one of the most intricate arts. You can't just sit down and make a sketch and know that it's going to be a sensation.
It's true. But, I have always been very... I think I've been always very much intrigued and very fascinated by architecture. And specifically, one of the things that my parents and grandparents really instilled in me is the love of tradition and the love of things that have passed. So you may not know about me, but I have 14 complete sets of china. I have like these things to me. Yes, I've got like tons of silver that I use all the time. But to me, these things they not only are valuable to me from a whatever value that they might have, but they're valuable for me because they remind me of dinners that I've had. So for example, this Thanksgiving, if any of you follow me on Facebook, you saw a set of china. That china was my parents' wedding china. And I am lucky enough to own it. But all of the things that I put on the table, or many of the things I put on the table, are kind of like a little bit of an homage to people that I've known, past celebrations. And to me, that is, I don't know, it's to some extent, it speaks of comfort. Many of you know that my mother passed away just last month. I mean, I had the reality is that table had many of the things that my mother and father had. And to me, it was not only Thanksgiving, it was a memory of dinners that I've had with them, dinners that I've had with my grandparents, dinners that, that we shared as family, because my parents were very big on on tradition and Sunday dinner and having people over. I don't think that there was ever a Sunday dinner in my house that was not a fancy occasion, that like everything was brought out, and it was like, and I told you my parents are British, so every Sunday it was roast beef and Yorkshire pudding and potatoes and broccoli with cheese sauce, and it was like a big thing. And we had family over every single Sunday. And so to me, all of those things are not only just things; they're just reminders of good times and times spent with loved ones. So they're
But
very
I think earlier today you said one of the most beautiful things to me, and it was the fact that you used the pieces of china and you do this meticulous decorating simply because, and you tell people this all the time, you deserve it. It's a beautiful thing and you have it and you want to enjoy it and you deserve it. And that was one of the most, I think that was one of the most extraordinary things that anyone's ever said to me, because we have these things, or we have the nice piece of jewelry, and sometimes we're afraid. Sometimes we're like, why would I do this? But like you said, it's because you deserve to enjoy it.
Every time you bring something out, whether that is a piece of jewelry, whether that is a cup and saucer from somebody, whether it's a piece of silver, every time you bring something out and you use it, or for me, anyway, I get a wonderful feeling that this is part of my heritage. This is part of my
Yes.
family. This is part of people I loved. This is part of this legacy. And so to me, I don't believe in keeping anything for good. A lot of people, like somebody said to me on one of my posts for Thanksgiving, they said, "You must have been polishing silver for a long time." And I'm like, I don't really polish silver all that much
No.
because I use it. And
Yeah.
the thing is that if you use it, you don't need to polish it, because when you use it, you wash it. And every time you wash it, you actually take that whatever tarnishes away. So if you use it often, you don't need to really polish it that much.
Yeah.
And yes, now I'm going to tell you that there is a trade-off there, because things don't stay shiny. They don't they're not like oh my God, it's like the luster on that silver is like great, but they develop a patina. And it's the same with jewelry.
Yep.
They develop a patina, and a patina, just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, a patina is the fine group of scratches and nicks and things that happen when you
Mm-hmm.
something. So all of these things develop a patina, but what that patina is, it is the legacy of that piece. It is all those people who have eaten off of that fork. It's all the times that somebody has worn that brooch. It's all the times that somebody has worn that ring and little
It's the
nicks
love.
and things. It's the love. Exactly,
Mhm.
Janet. It's the love. It is the enjoyment. And to me, I'm going to sound really funny because my mother used to say, shiny jewelry means new money. And what that really, I know that sounds very elite.
No, but it's not. But it just means that like you've worn it, you love it.
What that means is that people have gotten use and they have gotten enjoyment out of the pieces. So to me, I don't mind when something has a patina on it or that it's not ultra shiny, because to me, it means that all those nicks, all those little marks is something somebody has enjoyed. I'm going to tell you that
I agree.
my sister who's watching, who will know this, because I have given to every one of my nieces and nephews when they were born, and every one of my very, very good friends' children when they were born, a sterling silver rattle. And I always tell them, do not save this in the china cabinet. This is not something to be saved. This is something you give them and let them bang the heck out of it, and let them bang it on the ground, because when they bang it, it is a moment in their life recorded. every
Yeah.
time they bite it, it records the first marks of teeth coming in. And
Oh,
sterling silver is a hypoallergenic metal, so
it's
it's
true.
very good. And not only that, but you can actually put the silver into the refrigerator, and as a child, as a baby teething, it's
Yeah,
very
I thought so.
on the gums to have that
Yeah.
fullness on the gums. So I always tell people it's not one of those superfluous kind of like, hey, you know what? It's a sterling silver rattle. It is something to be used. It is something to be treasured,
Exactly.
because when that child is 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, they have the first recordings of their teeth scratching.
So sweet.
So it's important to me. I don't
So
know.
sweet.
People are probably like right now, Jana, people are like at home, they're like,
Oh
oh
no.
my God.
No, we are going off on all the things. Like we said, we're gonna get all the tea. We're getting all the tea. So couple of Kathy said she loves that. Tina, welcome into you. And speaking of great design, can we give a shout out for a second? Because we have a mutual friend that literally the reason she's a mutual friend is because of you. Leslie McGuire is watching. So
Oh my gosh.
speaking of extraordinary design, this woman is a design. She is a design powerhouse, and she is a
She
powerhouse of a
she
just
does
absolutely phenomenal.
amazing design, interior design. And
Interior, yeah.
exactly.
Like if you've walked into an epic jewelry store, it's probably because of
Probably
Leslie.
hers.
So,
The one
it
that
said
she
just like
designed.
literally, if you were blown away, it's because of Leslie. So, so
Exactly.
thank
And
you.
we did meet, well, not we did meet, but the reality is that we were in Vegas. And
Yeah.
so I had said goodbye to Leslie because she was leaving to go back to her state. I had said goodbye. Jana and David, David and I spent a lovely evening together. And so
Yeah.
anyway, they met at the airport. Jana and Leslie met at the airport, and they were
Both of
like,
our flights were like gone, like just delayed beyond belief.
and so they both texted me. They're like, "Who do you think I'm sitting with right now?"
The smallest jewelry world. So, okay, but getting back into that, because so then at one point you really wanted to go more into the entertainment side of stuff, but then at that point too, you were almost being pulled into the home shopping world and into the jewelry.
It's
So
true.
tell us a little bit about that, because you had an aspiration to go one way, but the opportunities kept flowing in another manner.
It's true. You know, the thing is that I was very lucky because I kind of really have always wanted to be in the entertainment. If I were not doing what I do now, I
Yeah.
would be an actor. I would be, trying to be on Broadway or trying to be in God knows what. But but the interesting thing is that that as my career progressed and as the television portion of it progressed, I had been doing QVC, and I had my own TV show on Reels, which was movie style with Michael O'Connor. And then I was covering the red carpet for the hour prior to Joan and Melissa coming on, and I was doing a variety of different things. And I was like, oh, and I'm going to take a step back because I told Jana this, and I said, even when I was younger, I really kind of wanted to be in entertainment. I went to the Royal Conservatory of Music to be a concert pianist, and I actually can play the piano. But as many of you, if you follow me on Facebook, because every now and then I put something on. But
Yes.
the reality is, I totally freeze up in front of an audience. So I cannot play the piano in public. I can
Which is
sing.
hilarious because you speak in front of all kinds of people.
So many people say to me, it's so funny. They were like, we don't think of you as a shy person.
No.
And I say to them, listen, if you have seen me on television, you probably don't think of me as a shy person. But the reality is, I'm talking to somebody beside me or a couple of people around me, and then I am talking to a black box.
Yeah.
And so I can think of that black box as one person, two people. I can think of them naked. I can do whatever I want. Whatever I want. And the reality is, it's just a couple people. But when you go into a stadium or a recital or something, and there's 50 people there, or like, I've spoken to groups of of up to 1,000 people, and they make eye contact with you, that's a totally different thing. All of a
Oh
sudden,
yeah.
I'm like, I'm like this because it makes me very nervous because what if they don't like what I'm doing?
Yeah.
What if they don't like what I'm saying? And it doesn't, and I'm there to do something, but at least on television right now, I am not looking at all of you go, no, he didn't just say that.
Which, don't get him wrong, at times people have probably reached out and told him that, and it's the most heart-wrenching moment you can have on national television when someone is just like, "You're wrong." And you're like,
There is nothing worse, Jada, because having done this, but there is nothing worse than because if you are on television, you kind of put yourself out there.
you're
And
vulnerable.
it is a vulnerability. And oftentimes, like on QVC, they have the community boards or whatever. And so people would write something like,
Yeah.
I hate Michael O'Connor.
Yes.
Like, or whatever. And all of a sudden you read that, you're like, oh my God. Like, what did I do?
There was one time that someone went off and was literally like, not only do you sound like a squeaky mouse, but this color is terrible on you. And I literally like just looked into the camera and I was like, you can say everything you want. Nobody thinks worse of me than me. So if you think that if you felt like I look bad or pale in this color, I already thought it, but my stylist put me in it. I already feel like I can't watch myself on TV because I think I sound worse than a squeaky mouse. I think I sound like a muskrat or something. Like I just went off and I was like, I 100%. You are absolutely right. You are 100%.
I don't think anybody really loves the way they look on television. Like right now, I
Yeah.
can see myself and I'm like, oh no. But I don't know whether anybody really loves the way they look on television. I don't really think that anybody loves the way they sound if you
Yeah.
listen to yourself on a recording. But the reality is, it doesn't really matter because people. The one thing I've learned, and this is a valuable lesson, and this was really valuable to me because somebody said to me when I was like, oh my God, like somebody doesn't like me. Like, and they said to me, do you like everybody? Everybody you meet, do you like everybody? I'm like, no, I don't like everybody. They're like, why do you think that a different rule should be applied to everybody else? And they're
That's a great way
right.
of putting it. Yeah.
They're right. Like, you have to realize that it's not humanly possible to like everybody. I mean, now don't get me wrong. It is always humanly possible to treat somebody with
To be
respect,
kind.
to be kind, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not always humanly possible to like everybody who
Yeah.
you meet. And
Yeah.
you have to say to yourself, like Jana, you, me, and like all of the people who are on television shopping or whatever, there are going to be people who don't really like us.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Because you can't like everybody. And if they don't like us, great. And I'm not
I
your
used to encourage people. I'd be like, I would love to tell you someone else's schedule. Like, and it is not a bad thing. It's not an unhappy thing. It's part of it. And it's unfortunately the part that I guess we don't really talk about very often, right? But I think that comes back to, again, that, we're all only human. And we all have feelings. The first time it happens to you, it literally felt like, oh my God, I thought my heart was ripped from my chest. I was like, I'm going to die. Like, everyone hates me. Everyone hates me. I retire. I'm done here.
I had somebody like once write me a personal note that said, the money that you invest in clothes, you should probably invest in hair plugs. And
oh my God, people are the worst. The worst.
Okay, well, God did this to me.
So, I didn't do it myself.
It's not like I chose to be like, hey, you know what? I'm just like, let me get rid of that. But God chose to do that, and that's the way I am. And
Also,
although I will tell you that one day I'm going to get a wig. I'm gonna get it like a toupee.
Are you just gonna do that for disguise?
Yeah,
Because I
no,
will find
I'm,
you.
I'm
No, I'm
just
just kidding.
I'm just gonna do it. But when I do it, it's not gonna be like one of these like comb over dudes, or like this. I'm gonna get like something fab. I'm gonna get something fabulous. Like I'm gonna get a big Tina Turner wig. And
Oh my God, I love it. Because I love you like this. So like for me, like I think that this is a very chic and refined style. So again, but like everybody has but again, live your best life. That's what it's all about, right?
I'm really only teasing. I mean, I'm not getting a wig, but
I mean, if you were gonna get a Tina Turner wig, I'd want a photo. Like I want
if I do decide to do something, it's not going to be just like like a little thing like this. It's going to be
Oh
like,
no way.
it's going to be like,
Oh yeah.
Dolly Parton or Cher or like, or Tina Turner. It's like big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's get back to because we talked a lot about it and you mentioned, okay, I started working with QVC, but how did you get into home shopping? So how did you transition this whole, because again, it seemed to like all these different paths came down your way. How did you get into home shopping?
Well, it was interesting. I was working as a jewelry designer, and I was working as the head of marketing for a very major jewelry manufacturer, and they had pitched a line to QVC, and they had said that that this person was going on air, who was one of the principals, and so the line was not doing really, really well. And the CEO of the company said, O'Connor, you're good at presenting. I think you're going to go on air. I was like, it's not really part of my job, but so he said, you're going to go on air. So I did, and fortunately, although certain people don't like what I do, certain people said, "Oh my
Loved
God,
it.
he knows what he's talking about." And I mean, I do know jewelry, I do know accessories, I do know fashion, I do know this stuff. So enough people really understood that or saw that, and the line started to do well.
Yeah.
So I started to be a regular. It was actually called Promise Diamonds at the time. And so a couple of years later, QVC came to me and they said, "Hey, what's your deal with this company?" And I said, "You know, it was part of my job, but I've left that company now, and they just asked me to go on air with them." And so QVC said, "You know, we really like what you're doing on air. You resonate with people. The information you're giving is both factual and entertaining." And I had also started at that point. I had also started to style some celebrities and things. So they said, "We really think that we would like you to come on air as our style person and represent our diamond brand." And so I gave it some thought, and I really did. I really love. I really loved working at QVC. So I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, of course I will do this because I loved the network. I loved what I
Yep.
was saying, and I really do love. And this is, I think, maybe this is what resonates with people, is that I really do love the idea of giving information that is going to help people look better, help people
Yes.
feel better, help people make wiser decisions,
Yep.
um, and help people kind of like literally live their best life.
Yeah.
And so to me, when I was given that opportunity, I was like, why would I not say yes to this? And it's something that I love, and it's kind of like, I get to work with people I love. I get to give information that I believe to be true, that it's going to help people. And so why wouldn't I do that?
Now it's kind of amazing because you've really come full circle in that. You've ventured out, and we're going to talk about some of the other incredible things that you've done, but you've really come full circle in that because you're back home at QVC and you've started doing some unbelievable content. And like, if you guys aren't aware of this, like, please indulge us on what you're doing now. And what you have coming up.
Well, as you know, because you and I have actually, Jana and I have like oh my gosh.
I'm going to show a couple little things here as we.
So yes, I have the opportunity. QVC has asked me back to be their style editor again. And the great thing is that literally I can talk about anything. And so I do these shows that I absolutely love to do, because to me, this is really what it's all about. When you make a wardrobe purchase, I don't care whether you're buying jewelry, whether you're buying a pair of pants, I don't care. Whatever you buy, not even just jewelry, an accessory, even for your home. When you're buying something for your home, you need to be able to say to yourself, you know what? Yes, I'm going to spend X amount of dollars for it, but the reality is that it's going to work here, it's going to work there. I am going to get like a lot of value out of this long term. And to me, that is really so incredibly wonderful. So I am doing all of these wonderful things called Total Look for QVC, where we take one staple item in a wardrobe that you may or may not have.
Yep.
And I show you 3 different ways to get a totally different look from that one specific item. Now, what Jana just showed is that, as you can see behind me here, I have my tree up. But as Jana just showed, I have this segment coming up about how to take one tree, and if you're like me, you like to change it up every year, or if you're many people, many of my friends, you may have more than one tree. So you can literally do various looks with each different tree. So what we do is we take one tree that is available at QVC, and then we literally create different looks with it. And I love that. But I'm also doing like really interesting things, like, because you know that I do love
I'll keep firing away.
I am not a good cook. I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm not a good cook, but I am a good presenter.
I was going to say, like, I wouldn't care what kind of food that you put down on the table, because your table is so immaculate. Like, I would literally just be like, this is the prettiest table I've ever seen in my life.
So I am a good presenter. So the one that Jana just showed is one that I did for QVC, and it's how to put a charcuterie board together, because a lot of people, they would like to do it, but they don't get the concept. To me, the concept of a charcuterie board is to really create this abundance, but also to create a situation where somebody might want to just graze by and pick something up and eat it, or somebody may want to sit and like literally create a little plate for themselves, whatever it is. So to me, I think that when I do that, like, and if any of you who followed me on Facebook, and my Facebook is Michael O'Connor Style, but if you follow me on Facebook, you know that if I'm left to my own devices, 8 times out of 10, my dinner happens to be like a charcuterie board of stuff pulled together. So
cheese and wine. Cheese and wine.
me. When they say, what would be your last meal?
Yes.
Me, cheese and wine. All I need.
Same. So I get it.
So anyway, so I show you on this segment how to put a charcuterie board together so that you can literally do it. And I have a pretty big charcuterie board there, but the reality is you can do it on a plate, you can do it on anything. And the wonderful thing about it, and it is kind of like styling, or it's kind of like designing, because to me, it is as creative and as interesting as you allow your mind to be.
Yeah.
So there are no rules. Like, the only rule to me is make it look like an abundance, and
where can I watch all these? So how do I get to watch them?
Okay. So QVC has now QVC Plus.
Okay.
And all of this content is on QVC Plus. So
how do I get there?
if you can download the app.
Okay.
It's available on all of your streaming devices. So if you go to QVC Plus, you can download QVC Plus. Or if you don't want to download the app, you can actually go to www.qvcplus.com. And then when you get there, you type my name into the search bar, and it will come up with all of the segments that I've done in the past. Now, the new ones, the ones that you just saw little previews of, they don't come until, I think, December the 5th. Is that next week?
That's literally Saturday, right? At this point, like it's coming up.
So,
I don't know. No,
yeah.
no, maybe it's like Monday. Maybe it's Monday, but like it's coming up.
It's coming up. So next week you'll get all of these new ones, and the new ones consist of like how to be a gracious host, how to be a gracious guest, how to put together a charcuterie board, how to dress up your tree in a variety of different ways, how to take one simple item, and we use this fabulous pant by Renee Greenstein from Women with Control, and how to take that one pant and do something that is like a drop dead gorgeous, glamorous, like going out for the evening look, how to do a cocktail luncheon look.
I love it.
I mean, it's just like all of these different ways how you can mix and match these things, and literally that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what fashion is all about. It's like you don't have to. I always tell people, don't buy something and say, I can only wear this here. I can only. I'm going to tell you a cute story. Like a friend of mine, years ago, I got this gorgeous 3-drawer demi-lune dresser from a mutual friend, and they didn't want to part with it because it had belonged to their parents, and yet it didn't work with their decorating. And they were like, Michael, are you interested in having this? I said, yes. I knew your parents, and I would love to have this as part of my home. It's actually, it's not here behind me, but it's like in the other room. So anyway, I used it, and I used it as the side table for many, many years in New York. I used it as the side table to my couch in my living room. And the first time that a friend of mine saw it, he said to me, why would you put a dresser in the living room? I'm like, dresser in the living room? I don't have a dresser in the living room. Oh, that's a dresser. I was like, no, it's a side table, but it's a dresser. I was like, yes, like you're thinking of it like this. Like, don't buy anything in your wardrobe, and don't buy anything in your life
It's a great point.
That you have to say to yourself, I can only use it this way. I can only use this good glass for company. I can only use whatever for this. Think beyond the box and say, I am going to get enjoyment out of this by using it this way, and do it. I mean, that's what it's all about. Think outside the box.
So your QVC segments, though, are not all that you're doing right now. I don't think people realize how many different hats that you wear, because you do this incredible work and you design your own pieces with the Danbury Mint as well. So tell us a little bit about that and that whole process, how you got involved with them, because to me, your pieces are so extraordinary and they're so beautiful. And you do such great work with them. And I got to meet a lot of them out at JCK this year, and they seem like such a fabulous team.
They really are. Like they're an amazing team, and I'm so lucky because they called me one day and they said, we've been watching you for a number of years. Would you be interested in designing a line? So I said, yes, of course. I'm happy to design a line. And thank you for putting that up, Jana, because this is my homepage there. But I said, I'm happy to design a line, but there are a couple of things that I want to be part of this. Number one, many of you know me for, and I'm going to show you this, my angel wing that I wear. My angel wing was really inspired. My father passed away in 2003, and many of you who have been with me for all this time know the story. But my father had always said every night before my brothers and sisters and I went to bed, he would kiss us on the cheek, and he would say, good night and God bless, and may the angels watch you always. And
love that.
so at QVC, I had the opportunity to present and work with the designers to create the angel wing. So I said to them, this is something that to me is so important because it is part of my legacy. And
Yeah.
I really do believe that, first of all, angels, no matter what religion you are, angels are almost universal across every religion.
I agree.
And even if they are not across every religion, the idea of an angel, somebody who is taking care of you and making sure that you are making good choices. We all feel that, I think we all feel that somebody always gives us some divine, thoughts. It's like, this is
Yeah.
what you need to do. And those
Yeah.
people are there taking care of you, whether that's your guardian angel, whether that is your grandmother, no matter who that, whether
Doesn't
that's your
matter.
best
Yeah.
friend, they're taking care of you. They are your angel. And so to me, this was really, really important that we did this. As a matter of fact, many of you who follow me know that my mother had passed away last month, and
So sorry.
and I have been working on a new collection that is going to be available in the next month on the Danbury Mint. So I'm looking forward to debuting that. And I will be putting a lot of that on my Facebook page when it comes out, because
Yay.
losing anyone in your life, I think, is traumatic. Losing a parent, whether it is your father, your mother, but even if it's a grandparent or somebody who's really meant a lot to you and been a spiritual guidance as well as a moral compass for you, I think is really traumatic for all of us. And we all deal with grief in a different way. And I'm going to tell you that for me, the angel wing, and you'll know when I talk about the other symbol that is coming out, that for me, this was kind of like a touch point. And the first time I saw an angel symbol after my father passed away was the very first time I didn't have that sad feeling, that
I love that.
that grieving that happens when people pass away. It was the very first time that I was flooded with the joy of a remembrance that he had said, "Good night and God bless, and may the angels watch you always."
It's so
And
beautiful.
and the new collection that I have coming out is really kind of dedicated to the remembrance of my mother, who and it's a collection of halo pieces because she was really like.
Can I tell you that that's the first thing that came to my mind when you said it? I was like, oh my God, he's going to do halos.
It's one of those things that, to me, she was always there, like around me all the time.
Yes.
And you know, and it's still kind of early in my grieving process.
Yeah.
She, actually, literally, she passed away exactly 1 month yesterday, and so to me, the idea of honoring her memory with something that is really like surrounds you with light, surrounds you with inspiration, surrounds you with brilliance. I mean, that is so incredibly, for me, it's very profound. So.
Oh my God, I love it so much. And Whitney just joined in. And so as Robert and Matt and Chris, it's so great to see you all. But Whitney said, I've not watched QVC in a good while. Are you still doing diamond jewelry? And we were just going over, you're actually doing something different for QVC, but you design your own jewelry with the Danbury Mint.
Yes, and thank you. Yes, I am doing, I do have my own line of jewelry at the Danbury Mint, which is www.danburymint, DANBURYMINT.com. And if you put / or /MOC from Michael O'Connor, you will actually end up on my page that Jana was just showing you. But when it comes to QVC, I actually came back to QVC as their style editor, which was originally supposed to be my total role there. And that total role was to really kind of like go across all the different elements of a lifestyle, so that and give people advice on style in everything from decorating to tablescapes to presentation, because that's really my passion. It's like it's really the presentation. It's really, to me, the way, if you surround yourself with things that are beautiful, it creates a good feeling. It's like, what is it that there's that saying, is like, when you look good, you feel good. Like, and when
love it.
when you surround yourself by beautiful things, and that to me is really my mantra in life. Like, make it all beautiful, because every time you look at something, it gives you a good feeling. Every time you look at what you're wearing, every time you look at the way you've done something, it gives you a good feeling. And so to me, that's important.
That's all we can strive to do, right? Is to have that spark, that joy. And I love your whole mental outlook towards this. It's so positive and refreshing and wonderful. But so Danbury Mint, QVC, that's not all, because you actually work with the Plum Club and a lot with JCK as well. And a lot of people don't even know this. There's a whole nother like, there's a whole nother hat. Like, he's not done, you guys. He's not done.
The great thing is that, and this is one of the things that I love kind of about my life and my career and the way things have worked, is that it's not been unifocus. It's been kind of like styling, or kind of like a great recipe. It's a little bit of this, a pinch of that. And to me, that's what I really love, is that I love the fact that my life is surrounded by, yes, I'm doing like QVC. I love QVC. I love the people I work with. I love what I'm able to do there. I love the Danbury Mint. I love the people I'm working with. I love the fact that I'm able to bring my designs to life so that you can enjoy them. I love the clients that I work with. I love the industry that I work in. I get to meet lovely people and work with lovely people like Jaina. So, I mean, to me, it's a little bit of kind of a stew. A little bit of that, pinch of this, and that's what makes it all come together, at least for me.
You have such an entrepreneurial spirit, though. Like, you really do dabble in so many different things, and you really do such spectacular work in so many different areas of this industry that so many people don't even realize. Like, you touch so many different parts of it. And again, to me, I still, no matter what, will always see someone walking down the red carpet with a brooch, and I'm like, "You're welcome" from Michael O'Connor. Like, no matter what I do, I'm literally like, you didn't start that.
It's wonderful, because and I have to say, I'm incredibly blessed, because in every facet, and I know that's like a bad pun, but in every facet of my career, I have been able to touch people. And I think that there's no greater reward than knowing that you have touched someone's life. And whether that's on television, where somebody comes up to me and they tell me that they have loved watching me, or whatever, or if somebody has a piece of jewelry and they say, "Oh, this is one of your pieces," or you told me that this style would be good on me, and so I bought this. So to me, there's nothing more wonderful than to know that you have touched the life of somebody else. I'm going to tell you another quick story.
Yeah.
And it involves QVC, because I was at an event a number of years ago, and I was a speaker at the event. And afterwards, as a speaker, a lot of times people will come and they'll they huddle by the stage so that when you come off, you can talk to them and say hello or whatever. And I met a young gentleman by the name of William Rincon. And he said to me, and he waited until the very last, and he said to me, he said, "I have to thank you." And I said, "Thank me?" I was like, "You're too young to thank me. What have I done?" And he said to me, I my grandmother was sick for many, many years. And after school, I used to come home and watch TV with her. And I used to watch QVC. And you made her laugh. You made her smile.
Oh my
And to me,
gosh.
that was so incredibly important. Even thinking about that today could bring tears to my eyes. The fact that I touched someone's life in a meaningful way. I mean, I really don't think you can do anything that is more beautiful than touching someone's life.
It's those little things, isn't it? It's like when you have a passion behind what you do, it's the little things of, him remembering the joy you brought her, or the
Exactly.
person remembering the piece that you connected them with that means more than anything in the world, or that their mom got, or that their sister got and gifted. It's just this beautiful connection, really.
Not just that, it's just like the connections you have with people, like you and I mean,
Yeah.
we're not I didn't know you for like 40 years or whatever, but
Yeah.
like you and I think we had such a great connection right away, and you have touched my life, and for that I thank you. And some of the people who are watching, who have made
Yeah.
comment, you have all touched my life. Esther Ann, I know that you like always comment and things. These are people who touch my life,
Yeah.
and for those things I will be forever grateful. I don't know if any of you saw my Thanksgiving post this year, and Jana knows this. This year has been what I call my annus horribilis, and if any of you have been watching The Crown, you know exactly what that is. But this year has been such an incredibly tough year for many reasons. But on Thanksgiving, you have to think to yourself, like, what are the things that I am grateful for?
Yeah.
And so, you have to count your blessings,
Yeah.
because yes, life is full of hard things. That's life, but
Yeah.
it's full of many blessings. And if you can count your blessings, or you can at least remember them among the other things,
Yeah.
it helps you get through.
Yeah. And that's what it is. Like, and it's beautifully said. We are all very grateful for you. You
Oh,
bring so much joy and so much positivity. And we do have to ask you at least two more quick questions, because these are the most important. I think I know the answer to the first one. Do you have a favorite piece that you ever designed?
my favorite piece that I actually ever designed is really the one I'm wearing around my neck. And that is because it has that whole idea that I was telling you about before, the whole legacy idea,
Mhm.
and the idea that somebody's always there for you. Somebody is always looking out for you. And to me, that is really important. So this is really kind of my favorite piece. And my new favorite pieces will be the halo, which will
I
be
know they will. We're
debuting.
so excited.
I mean, I just love the style of them, but those are my favorite pieces. I have so many. The great thing is that um, the great thing about, and I tell this to other designers, because a lot of designers say, "Oh my God, people are going to copy me." And I was like, the great thing about a creative mind is that you are always creating.
Yep.
Like, it's like you live in the world of what if. Like my place here that you see behind me will never ever be finished, because I keep thinking to myself, what if that picture was over here?
I
What
love it.
if it's just you live as a creative mind, you live in the world of what if. So
100%.
that's I think to some extent a great thing. And I always tell designers, like, don't worry about it. Like, so they copy you. You're already like 5 designs ahead of them.
Yeah. I mean, that's the mental outlook we all need to have in all areas of life, in my opinion. In all areas of life, that's the way to look at it. Just like, you know what? You have to I had, and I know you're the same way. I had someone say to me a long time ago, "What harm does it do to help this person? They're not you. They're not bringing the same things to the table that you are. Like, you're just helping them on their journey, and you're on your own journey." So just give them all the help and support you can. There's no harm in doing that.
I am of the belief that when you raise the water in the bay, all of the boats benefit from it. So
I love it.
why would you rob someone of a little knowledge? I
Yep.
mean, we're all different people,
Yep.
and you can't think of like. And I do know that some people are like, well, it will take away from me. But the reality is, if we
Nope.
all if we all are a little kinder, if we're all a little nicer, if we all just like help each other just a little bit, we all
100%.
rise.
I agree. I agree 100%. Okay, so I think the real thing that we've all been hanging in there and that we all need to know, Michael, best
What kind of
celebrity
gig I'm gonna
encounter
get?
and why. What? Wait, what was it?
Gig I'm gonna get?
That, I mean, also, yes.
Sorry, I did. Sorry, I jumped the gun on that. I didn't hear your question.
No, but I mean, yeah, kind of, yes. But also, best celebrity encounter and why.
Oh my gosh, that is I have had the opportunity of working with and knowing, oh my gosh, like when I say thousands, I'm not kidding, thousands
Yes.
of celebrities. So my best celebrity encounter, I want to say was kind of before I was ever on television. When
Okay.
I first moved to New York, I had the opportunity of meeting Mary Tyler Moore. And first of all, I mean, obviously,
Gosh.
it's Mary Tyler Moore. And oh, but I have another one. Wait, but Mary
Okay.
Tyler Moore. So I'm sitting there and I'm working in a retail store in New York. I'm like so green. And so Mary Tyler Moore comes in, and it was a very small store because in New York, everything is very small. And
Mm-hmm.
so there was no room in the store. And so she wanted to try something on. So I was standing there behind her, and she said to me, she's like, "Oh, come and sit beside me here." I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm about to share a chair with Mary Tyler Moore. Like, who could turn the world on with her smile?" It's like, yeah, and she was just so, I don't know. I just loved it because I mean, I had known her on TV for so long. But here's my other one. Oh my God, every time I say one, it's like I think of another one. So Liza Minnelli.
Mm.
After I was on television for a while, and I had some I can't even call it importance, but that I had some people knew me in
Hey.
the television
Yes.
industry. So I had the opportunity. I went to a luncheon and I was seated beside Liza Minnelli,
You
and
had some importance. You
for whatever. So I'm seated beside Liza Minnelli and Michael Feinstein, and so I had actually, unbeknownst to Michael, I had actually helped design his wedding band. And so I start to talk to him, and he introduces me to Liza. And Liza says to me, "Oh my God, you're a stylist and a designer." And she holds my hand and she's like, "I need you in my life." And I'm like thinking to myself, "Oh my God, this is like so surreal." Like Liza Minnelli is holding my hand and telling me she needs me in her life. And then as people were coming up, like really important people, she looks up and she goes like this. She's like, "Do not interrupt us." It's like,
Did
oh
you
my,
have the same feeling when I did that to you sitting at the dinner table in Vegas? Like
absolutely. Absolutely.
same, right?
It's just so weird. And like, here's my final one is that when I first moved to New York, I had the opportunity to Oh, to go to Rex Harrison's apartment, because I was helping style him with something. So I go to this like very important building in New York, and I am like green. And so I get in the elevator goes up, and the doors open, and then all of a sudden these big double doors open, and it's Dr. Doolittle. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So he brings me into the living room, and his living room overlooked the East River, which was incredible. So you could see, like, the Pepsi Cola sign, all the things that you think about New
Oh yeah,
York. This living room was all the things you think about.
was New York.
It was grand. It was like beautiful. It overlooked like in a major place, and so me being as green as I am, I said, oh, this view is so nice. I'm trying to pay him a compliment. And I said, I would love to have this view one day. My view, I face south in my apartment. And he says to me, oh, don't worry. We face south from the gymnasium. Let me take you on a tour. And he takes me on this tour, and I all of a sudden realize that this apartment is the entire floor of this building, and why I should not have known that when the elevator opened and it was only one floor, like one place. I was like, oh,
Still
my
green.
God,
Still green.
do I feel like the green, the green cuisine, the green cut, like the country bumpkin.
Still green. Still green.
Um,
So I don't have anything that compares to that, but I will tell you, I did get to meet Clint Eastwood when I was living out in LA. And I always told my boss that if I ever was to meet him, like she had to remove me from the situation immediately. And I was a bartender. And I was like, there's no way I'll be able to speak with him because he's like my all time. And this was in a room of like tons of celebrities. Like it was a massive celebrity party. And he walks up and I just start pouring beer and looking at him. And just pouring beer. Just the beer is coming up and over. And my boss comes running over and she's like, oh no. Like, no, you have to get away. Please leave Clint Eastwood alone. I'm just sitting there like, and over here is like Gwen Stefani and like all these other people, like David Spade is there. Like, I'm not even phased. And then like just sitting here like.
It is kind of like really weird when you get like that. It's like,
when you have those moments, and you have like every now and again we have those moments, like you open up to a floor and you should know it's the whole floor, but again, what to do. But Michael, we cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much for taking this time and sharing your journey with us, because you truly have been on the most spectacular journey. It really is amazing, and we're so grateful for you. You've made so many massive contributions in the jewelry world and in the style world.
Thank you, Jana. It is so wonderful. And thank you for asking me to do this because, first of all, as I said earlier, you and I don't have the time to catch up as much as I would love to. So it's a great opportunity to see your lovely face one more time.
It has been absolutely amazing. We cannot thank you enough for doing this. And please make sure you check out all of Michael's things on QVC Plus. Like he said, it's very easy to do. If you can't download the app, you can actually just go to the website and access it from there. And then at Danbury Mint as well, because they're doing so many spectacular things. We can't wait. When you do your new designs, you have to let us know.
I will definitely. It will be on my Facebook. So if you are not following me on Facebook, please do so, which is I think I think they call me. It's like some kind of a name of like the Michael O'Connor, but it's Michael O'Connor Style.
Mm-hmm.
So follow me there, and if you are on Instagram, I'm also there, which is at Styling Spy, which is STYLING SPY.
So definitely go and follow Michael, and please make sure you check out, if you've never seen some of his extraordinary designs, they are absolutely fabulous. And check out all of his new segments coming up with QVC. This is such an exciting time. We're so excited that you let us be a part of it. So thank you.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here with you. And thank you guys all for watching. Like all of the wonderful people who tuned in this evening. I just really want to just say thank you because, I said earlier, it's about the people who you touch, and you touch me all the time. You touch my life, and that's really important. thank you.
It's amazing. So yes, thank you to each and every one of you watching, and we'll be back soon. Make sure you're following Michael over at Michael O'Connor Style. And Michael, thank you again.
Thanks,
and
Jane.
we wish you all a very great night. Thank you all for being here.
Happy holidays.
Yes, happy holidays.